Welcome to all viewers and followers of Telesmundo and YouTube channel Armwrestling Show. Today we are pleased to have the great arm wrestler Devon Larratt here with us. A kind regard to Devon, welcome and thank you so much for accepting this invitation. I'm so
Hey,
happy to have you
me too, man.
here
Good
today
to be on the show with you.
as guest in my channel. Apologize in advance for my poor English. This is the first time I hold an interview in English. If
I
you
can understand you perfectly. All good. Very
thank
good.
you, thank you, thank you. If you agree, so let's get started with the questions. At what age did you start practicing this sport as a professional?
As a professional, I think I was 18 years old. I had moved out to Alberta. I was working in the oil field. My boss was a guy called Dion Langell. His brother's Aaron Langell. They're kind of famous arm wrestlers here in Canada, and they've traveled abroad. That was who I started with professionally. And since 18, arm wrestling just gets bigger and bigger in my life.
Why do you think the people should start arm wrestling?
I think arm wrestling is a great sport. It will make you stronger. It'll give you challenges to overcome in your life. It'll teach you about your body. It will let you get together with people. And it'll make your community bigger. And yeah, if you love strength and if you love to fight, arm wrestling is perfect. Yeah.
Is it true that one of your first opponent in your early years was your grandma?
Yes. That was who really started me in the sport of arm wrestling was my grandmother. My grandmother was my first arm wrestling match ever. And she, I don't really want to say that she trained me, but I was probably about 5 years old about that when I started to arm wrestle with my grandmother.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we used to arm wrestle at the kitchen table every day. Yeah, yeah,
I proved with my father when I little.
yeah,
My
yeah.
father is strong, is strong.
I never beat my grandmother. I never did.
Why have you never participated in the Champions League organized by the WAF, World Arm Wrestling Federation?
I have.
Ah, you
I,
have.
I have. Yeah, I competed. I believe it was 1999 in Japan, and I got 2 bronze medals. And then I competed in 2000, I believe it was, in Rovaniemi, Finland, and I also got 2 bronze medals. Um, I think the WAF is a fantastic organization. At the time that I was going to WAF, I was actually being sponsored to go. I was being paid. My flights, my hotels, everything was being compensated. So it was a fantastic opportunity. Once I went to my next place of work in 2001, they no longer supported me to go to any arm wrestling events. So I lost my previous sponsor. And a lot of the reasons why I did not continue to go to WAF was because I didn't want arm wrestling to cost my family money. And I had opportunities at that point to make money and arm wrestle. So that was more where I put my goals. I love the WAF, and who knows? I mean, maybe one day they'll make it to the Olympics, and it's where all of us will want to go.
Nice, nice. What do you want to say to all those gym goers, bodybuilder, and those who practice calisthenics and criticize our sport for being dangerous?
I wouldn't say that arm wrestling is particularly dangerous. I would say that doing anything in an unprogressive manner is dangerous. And when you face another person and you really don't want to lose, well, that's when the danger starts to happen. But this can be in any sport or any activity. Arm wrestling is no different. But when you train for arm wrestling, it can be just incredible. And that's what I would suggest for most of athletes coming into the sport from fields like bodybuilding or calisthenics or strength-based fields. I'd say come and train with arm wrestlers, and we will show you an entirely new way to make your body stronger and show you strength that you may not be aware of yet. I would love to see bodybuilders fall in love with arm wrestling more, because bodybuilders are so great at building muscle. And muscle is the base for all strength performance. And I think that if bodybuilders, go on stage and they start to like pop pronators, that to me would be so cool. And like if they really fell in love with the forearm, I personally would think that would be a physique that I would be even more impressed by. Bodybuilders have the most incredible physiques, but if they understood arm wrestling and if they understood how complicated and how much there is in the forearm, I would love to see that. And you can only develop a lot of these, by the movements that we do in the sport and by arm wrestling on the table. So come on in, guys. Come in, find us, let us work with you, let us make you stronger.
Do you think that including arm wrestling exercise in the training routine of bodybuilder or powerlifter could improve their overall performance?
I'd say bodybuilder for sure. I would think that as a bodybuilder, if they start to do like curls where they're, actively pronating, doing stuff more with supination. And I think bodybuilders don't spend a lot of times on their forearms, but I mean, it's all about what you think is aesthetically pleasing. I personally, when I see a body that has extremely developed forearms and hands, I think it's cool. Like, I think it looks really neat. So I would like to see bodybuilders do more of it. Yeah, all the time, right?
Every day.
Every day. And it's one of those things that you can do every day. And I mean, people who love to train and work out, I mean, the forearm can just take so much. As far as like powerlifting, as far as like the performance sports like powerlifting or fighting or strongman or something, I don't think that there's probably a ton of crossover. I wouldn't think that there is. I think that the more athletes that you meet, the more you can kind of take ideas from different fields and make it work for you. But I think that if you want to be a world-class powerlifter, you stay in the world of powerlifting. If you want to be a world-class arm wrestler, you stay in the world of arm wrestling. For sure, you can get inspiration, and maybe something that you see in a different sport will tweak your own mind to do better. But for the most part, there's a difference between aesthetics and performance. And I think in bodybuilding, even though bodybuilding is like you're performing to build muscle and look a certain way, I just think that a bodybuilder would look even cooler if they had good pronators.
Have you ever thought of starting an arm wrestling training school or club?
Very much. I think that something that I will eventually have is more of, I don't want to call it a gym. I'd prefer to call it a house or a clubhouse that's dedicated to the sport. That's what I think that my next step would be. And in that house, there would be like dedicated times for different groups to come. So yeah, it'd be a little bit like a school. Like we'd have like junior days, senior days, women's days, whatever. We'd have like a different time periods for different groups of athletes to move through. And we'd have like obviously open period as well. But For sure, I would like to have like a gym, house, club, whatever you want to call it, that is more like open every day and open to arm wrestling and organized enough that, you know, you could have classes. Yeah. So for sure. And I'd like to have them all around the world so I could travel and do it.
Do you have plans regarding traveling across Europe and making seminars or meeting in order to disseminate the sport?
Yeah, I don't want to do anything until the big match is done. The 25th of June. From now until then, I just want to train and train kind of more locally with the people that I know in the area. After that, for sure, I'll definitely move into a period of where I have more fun and kind of get out and travel and meet more people and, you know, show people what I know about the sport. But I find that the internet is so powerful now that it's very easy to transmit ideas, you know, just through YouTube or whatever. Yes. So I think that probably what I'll do is I'll travel. I will just pull and compete and train with different clubs, as opposed to getting ready for big match. I think that I like to do both things. I like to get ready for big matches. And when I do that, I don't like to travel too much. And then I like to just live the arm wrestling lifestyle where I kind of travel, you know, get a ton of table time. That's a great lifestyle too. So I'll probably alternate between those things until I can no longer compete at that high level. And then I'm just going to travel and, you know, do that stuff all the time.
Is important training in the table or more in the gym with exercise for you?
I think that the most important thing is if you're an arm wrestler, I think you should probably arm wrestle a lot. I think it's very difficult for me to say that this is not ever the highest priority. I think that it's probably the reason why you're doing it to start with. So you don't need to get too far away from it, I think. I mean, people do things for different reasons. I like arm wrestling practice. I really enjoy it. So that's what I like to do. That's what I spend most of my time doing when it comes to training for the sport. I do think that at different points in your career, there's a lot of good reason to spend a lot of time in the gym, just to focus on the very, very fundamental movements of the sport. I think that if you're doing a lot of table time, a lot of table practice, your body probably has enough stimulation that it knows what it needs to do in terms of getting stronger. And the way you train, it can be more just for rehabilitation and to help you heal. I think a balanced approach is probably good, but be flexible, listen to your body, and most importantly, have fun.
Are you doing a specific diet as regards your preparation for your match against Devon?
I eat everything. Everything. Yeah, I really try to keep my digestive system like fully maxed out. So there we go.
The king Devon. This is important. This is important.
I got one over here.
Ah, espera. I
have them like all over the house. I have bottles stashed everywhere.
Mira.
Yeah.
This.
Hey. Hey, cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The big thing that I noticed as a super heavyweight is more carbohydrate. That's what I find, like when I'm really trying to be super strong, more carbohydrate. The carbohydrate gives me better energy for my workout. I find that I heal quicker when I heal quicker when I'm eating more carbohydrate, and it's easier to grow and get stronger. I always eat protein. I always eat fats.
The bacon, the bacon.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
But you know, it's important to eat a lot of food. It really is. Like eating a lot of food is at least half of the fight. Like if you really want to get stronger, you have to eat a lot. It's difficult work. Yeah, it's a big part of it. Just eating all the time.
Is it enough the pancake diet you usually follow?
Pancake diet is kind of a funny thing. I'll tell you, pancakes are really good. They're easy, and you know, they're great to have just before, just after working out. I mean, they're probably not the most healthy food in the entire world, but I really believe that if you are training hard, like if you are working out very hard, you will burn everything. So a lot of it is you want food that will digest quickly, because the quicker you can digest it, the quicker you can get it into you, the faster you can burn it, the faster you can get everything done. So I think that, you know, while you want to eat healthy and eat good food, eat nutritionally dense food, make sure you get enough protein. I don't think that there's anything wrong with eating foods that are a little bit processed, that are a little bit simpler to digest, so long as you're burning it. I think that I don't have a problem with it. Like I do it all the time.
How often do you currently train for arm wrestling?
That's my life. Right now, my life is very simple. I'm retired, so I don't have like a regular job anymore. So I normally do, I'd say normally 4 a day. And they're not extremely demanding. And it's all right hand, all just arm wrestling movements, probably about 4 times a day. That's normal. Sometimes, you know, sometimes I'll only get 2, which is very rare. 3, 4, sometimes I'll get 5 if I'm being crazy. And on days that I practice on the table, I'll normally do less. Sometimes on a day that I practice, if I think it's going to be a big practice, I won't train. I'll only go to the practice. But if it's a practice that I know I'm going to be comfortable, I might do up to 3. So I'll do one before, I'll do the practice, and then I'll do a cool down at night where I just kind of do rehabilitative motions and go through everything. There is no other training.
No.
No, I don't do anything else. I only train my right hand these days. I don't do bench press, I don't do squat, I don't do deadlift, I don't do anything but arm wrestling movements with my right hand. That's it. And it's been like this for about 2.5 years. About 2.5 years only training my right hand. My whole life I've trained. I've done different sports. I've played sports at a high level. I've had to use my entire body my whole life. This experiment that I'm doing right now, where I only train my right hand, I'm in love with it. I think it's so fascinating. I think it's incredible. The only other training that I really do is maybe going for a walk. That's it. And I'll tell you that I feel extraordinarily healthy. Extraordinarily.
Perfect.
My left hand is probably the best it's ever been in my life, ever. My whole body feels healthy, pretty good, which is so shocking to me. I would never have thought it would go like this. I thought as soon as I started this training, it's going to be never-ending problems, but I was willing to try it. But now, after 2.5 years, my right hand is undoubtedly the strongest it's ever been. My left hand is also the strongest it's ever been. And my whole body, pretty good. Pretty good.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
As regards the training itself, do you think it is more important the number of repetition than the height or the combination of both?
I'd say that that's a very personal answer because I think that we are all a little bit different and we will respond to different things. I have found that the most important thing for me doesn't necessarily have to do with the reps or the intensity. It has to do with the consistency. So what I mean by that is if I'm training every day, multiple times a day, for weeks, for months, for seasons, this is how I get really strong. And in that season, it wouldn't matter exactly what I'm doing, just so long as I'm doing it all the time. And that's how my body makes changes and adapts. I have found that I do very well with a combination of consistent table time and high rep blood flow style of training. So when I typically train, I train around 50 repetitions, very, very small motions, not to failure, something that's manageable for, maybe like 4 exercises, 50 reps, or 5 exercises, 50 reps for 6 sets, if you understand the math there. So I'm doing 4 or 5 exercises 50 times each in a bang, 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 and I'll do that 6 times. And I find for me that this is something that I can manage. It's not too hard. I can do it again and again and again and again, and slowly my body adjusts, it adapts, and makes good changes.
Devon, what do you think of Levan?
Levin he's a champion. Levin has everything. He has strength to which we've never seen before. Levin is he's maybe the strongest arm wrestler ever. I think he's technically incredible. I think he's strong in mind, body, spirit, and technicality. I think he's got it all. That's why I want to face him. I believe that he is just a great representation of arm wrestling, and yeah, we call him Everest, right? He's Everest. I think that there's a very small number of people who have the right to challenge Levon. I think Vitaly, Alex Kordecha, me. I think that, I'm sure there are others, but I'm lucky that I get a chance to pull this guy. And so, and out of respect to how good he is, I will be the best that I've ever been, ever. I'll be better than I was when I was in 2008 or any time since or before that. I'm healthy. I'm motivated. And come the 25th of June, I will give our current champion the best match he's ever had. Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about the new Netflix documentary?
Oh, yeah. I'm really excited about it. We've been filming it probably for at least a half a year. It's got a lot to do with me and kind of my journey in arm wrestling. It will culminate to the Levon match and then probably tell a little bit of a story still after. But
nice.
Yeah, it's Stallone is the executive producer, which is great. That's a big bonus for us. Have a great team producing it. I really like the guy, Rory McIntosh Turner. He's a fantastic dude. He's the guy doing a lot of the work. I think he's a very bright talent, and I everything that I've seen so far has really impressed me. The quality is very good. He's a very good storyteller. And the interesting thing is he came to us really not knowing much. He didn't really know much, and he did that on purpose. And he's allowed himself to kind of discover the sport by following me around. And I'm happy to say that he may have caught the arm wrestling bug a little bit. So kind of the guy who's really doing most of the work is now falling in love with the sport. So I'm sure that it's just good news for all of us. Yeah.
Nice.
And it'll probably be out in 2023. Probably 2023 is when you'll be able to see it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would you like to make or participate in a movie?
Yeah. Well, there's this movie is one thing. It's more of a documentary. I've actually been asked to do a couple movies. One is coming up after the Levon match. It's down in South Africa. I probably don't want to give too many of the details of that one yet, but it's a perfect role for me. It's like the perfect role. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'll do anything that I think is kind of fun. I'm mostly at this point in my life, I want to travel. I want to arm wrestle. I want to have fun. I want to keep training and compete at the highest level I possibly can. And I want to be able to share kind of the story of arm wrestling, what it's done for me, and what I think it can do for other people, to as many people as I can. So if part of that is getting in a movie and reaching people that way, that's cool. That's cool.
I invited you in the Gran Canaria when you come here. I want training with you.
Yeah, buddy, for sure. Yeah, that's for sure gonna happen. Yeah, when I get over there, we'll hang out and we'll party. We'll get on the table. You can crush me. Yeah.
No.
That'll be good.
This was the final question. But before ending this interview, can you show your biceps?
Of course. There's the
Wow.
right, left.
Wow. Massive,
Yeah,
massive.
I'll be ready.
Fantastic.
Hey, Auden.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you, Devon.
Yeah.
I watch all your YouTube videos regularly, and they keep me motivated. Thank you for sharing all this video with training tips, exercise, and advice. But why are some of them your own creation?
The videos that I make?
Yes.
Are they of my own creation?
No, the exercise.
Yeah, a lot of the exercises I've come up with myself. A lot of them. What I found was long ago, before there was a lot of discussion on the internet, a lot of people like me who loved arm wrestling found ways to train for arm wrestling off the table. But a lot of us weren't connected, right? But when we started to become connected, it was obvious that very, very many of us had come to the same conclusions. Very many of us were doing very similar exercises with very similar training tools. So, I mean, as an arm wrestler, anybody who falls in love with arm wrestling very quickly realizes the importance of the movements of the hand and the wrist. How you keep your hand high, there's a lot of ways. How you keep your wrists strong and cupped, a lot of ways. How you keep your pronation, how you keep your arm inside your body, there's many ways. Probably the thing that I'm most, I like the multi-spinner. I had never seen a multi-spinner. I had not found anybody else who had been playing with the multi-spinner. But yeah, I mean, the thing is with arm wrestling is the more you understand the sport, you try and take the sport, what you learn on the table, and bring it to the gym. and back and forth, and ways that you feel that you're weak on the table, you need to find ways to make that better in the gym. So you do homework, you you do everything so you can get better where it really matters.
You are
But simplicity.
No, you are the first YouTuber in the world.
For arm wrestling.
For me, yes. For me, yes. You are the first YouTuber in the world.
Yeah,
But
I think I was the first one to kind of bring it to many people. And a lot of the exercises, yes, I did come up with them, but a lot of the exercises were being already done by the community, or I came up with them, but I could definitely not claim them as my own, because people all around the world have come to the same conclusions, right? We all know as arm wrestlers what's important, it's just great that through means like YouTube, we've been able to share it with everybody. Now, when people come to the club, I find like when people show up on their first practice, they've already been training for arm wrestling for 3 months in the gym, and they already feel like they've been arm wrestling for a long time because they know the movements that are important.
The hand is important.
Yeah, the hand, the wrist, the upwards drives, attacking weakness, attacking the person's fingers. You learn that in arm wrestling, you have to beat a person's weakness, which is their hand. And the best way to beat a person's hand is by having a strong hand yourself.
Devon, once again, thank you for accepting this interview. You are very welcome to come to Gran Canaria as our guest.
Hey, thanks so much, brother. I love everything you do. I follow you too, so I get to see all the fun stuff you're doing. Keep crushing it. Keep doing it. Yeah. Go easy with the maple syrup. Yeah.
Every time.
Cheers, buddy.
Okay. Thank you. I'll see you soon in Gran Canaria.
I'll be there.